Hello my astrology friends, this is Lada from Astrolada.com and these are your September 2023 video horoscopes. And September we have 3 planets changing directions. What does it mean? Your life will change direction. 3 planets, Venus is turning direct, Jupiter is turning retrograde, Mercury is turning direct, which those 3 planets rule 6 out of the 12 houses, which means 6 areas of everyone's life will shift, will change. With 2 planets turning direct for the better, with 1 retrograde, maybe it will just change, take a different direction. Doesn't have to be negative, just an alternative direction. But 6 areas of your life will be shifting, big changes. I'm very excited. Before I start, I just want to let you know that I've compiled for you around more than 600 transits of transiting planets to natal. It's a written ebook. It's interactive. You can click on the transit you're interested in and it will take you to the text, very extensive text, what each transit means. Or you can watch your transits on my personal transit calendar, which is for free for everyone for the next 4 or 5 days always. But this book is a work of love that I've created over 4 or 5 years. Me and my teacher, we've written all the transits in depth. If you want to own it for a very small amount, it's hundreds of pages. An early bird will get a big discount of 30% on this ebook. So let's start with the horoscopes. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising. This month, a lot of planets change directions. It means our life also changes direction. And at the beginning of the month, Venus changes directions. It was retrograde in your 9th house for the last 40 days. And at certain moments, it was in a pretty poor state. So there might have been crisis of faith there, and clarity about the direction, or even rethinking, is that the direction in my life I want to go to? Maybe revisiting somehow the past, or revisiting some old belief systems and ideologies, rethinking, pre-qualifying, or sometimes even having some kind of existential crisis a little bit, because that's the 9th house of God. But if there was any complications with 9th house, with higher education, with travels, now Venus turns direct, this will be straightened out. And if you were working on some project like teaching or learning project, while Venus was retrograde, now it's going to start showing you the results. Things go according to plan from pretty much the beginning of the month. Some of you might have revisited some places they used to love abroad, or reconnected with people from abroad, and so on. But I think that this Venus stays in Leo in your 9th house direct almost the whole month in September. So fantastic time for travel still, but this Venus is in great state and it's a new Venus. It's been reborn. It's Venus Aphrodite, morning star. It's much more bold and brave. So go this month, explore new places if you can, study something new if you can. It will be very auspicious. Venus is protecting you from this 9th house. After Venus turns direct, you can meet new people that expand your mind, bring knowledge to you. You can even, if you're single, that can be, some kind of a relationship connected to, that's more dharmic. That is more, dharmic means not karmic, but dharmic, that brings good things to you, that expands your horizons. That's like good karma. And it doesn't have to be sexual relationship necessarily. It can be like a good dharma person, Venusian, entering your life, like a woman or a teacher or someone you watch on TV or on YouTube, or some kind of inspiration that comes to you from others, or maybe an advisor or counselor or a friend that appears as because Venus rules your 11th house of friendships and social contacts, that has beneficial, benevolent influence on you, or maybe getting in touch with friends or doing some activity that opens opportunities for you, that is like going to concerts or seminars, or where large groups of people gather, or some kind of, I think it will be very auspicious for you this month to be in places where there are many people and where there is people get together, because Venus rules your 11th house, turns direct in your 9th house of luck. So some opportunity to meet the right people, or to get answers about yourself, about the future, or discover new passion, new inspiration in life as well. But anything to do with travel, with studies, higher education, or legal matters, that can start going very well. It can be a good month to get married if you want, even. Venus in the 9th house, direct, visible. Then, at the same time that Venus goes direct, Jupiter will go retrograde. And Jupiter rules you. Jupiter goes retrograde in your 6th house. It happens once every 12 years. It will be retrograde till almost the end of December. I think something like that. And it's the 6th house is to do, and wherever Jupiter goes, you're very sensitive to that. So at the beginning of the month, yes, Venus turns direct, really protects you, but your planet goes retrograde. So this can be a good time to really, over the next few months, to reevaluate your health habits and to rethink them and to start thinking maybe alternative ways of how you take care of your health. This is one thing's obvious, the 6th house. But let me tell you something though. 6th house is health. So if you've been having some health issues, planet turning retrograde or changing direction in your 6th house, it can be reversal of those issues. For some of you, it can play out, say you've been having health issues for years. Jupiter turns retrograde in your 6th house. You can suddenly find alternative solutions, or you can dissolve this problem almost, it can a reversal of a health situation. Or you can be healthy and you can start having some health issues. That's another way, reversal. We don't know which way it goes, Reversal, which makes you think like, maybe I should work out. Maybe I should start, take a second opinion on a diagnosis, or figure out what's wrong with me. Or maybe I should start taking supplements. Maybe I should start being more careful with what I eat. So these are some of the themes a lot of you will be thinking. And Jupiter is especially powerful when it changes direction. So this whole month, even already from the end of August, the first 2 weeks of September, this can be a theme that you're really involved with that will stay, till May 2023. Till Jupiter is still in your 6th house. But now is a time to change the tide. And if also you've been in some situation with work or whatever that has not moved or anything, again, Jupiter changes direction, so there can be some change in the winds with your career, with your work, change of mind there. For some of you, how it might look out, I've seen it play anyway. For example, you've been in a difficult work situation, Jupiter changes direction, even though it's going retrograde, the situation becomes easier. Or the opposite. Suddenly a certain project, suddenly you start thinking, I might not be in the right work, or this project slows down, or it requires extra efforts, you need to correct it, to fix it. Maybe something to do with your employees that you gets delayed, or that you have to change in some way. But of course, this is a period of change. Changing directions, you might have to change something in regards to your health, can change, or you can change something in regards to your work. And of course, because Jupiter is retrograde, for some of you, some old work opportunity can come up. Maybe some work project that you thought about that you haven't completed, and you can give it new life. You can make it even better, or over the next few months. Or maybe some of you might even decide to change their job or their work or the employees. For others, it might be something in the environment that you work. Or maybe it can be someone who's been stay-at-home mom or hasn't worked in a while. Jupiter goes retrograde in the 6th house, and they're like, suddenly they start working, or the desire to work comes back, and they would change back to how it was years ago or months ago, or, So that's how different ways it can play out. I remember my husband, when Jupiter got retrograde in his 6th house, went very introspective about his health and started researching, because retrograde planets love to research alternative healing methods. He started researching supplements. That was right after a bout of COVID we had, and he basically found that certain supplements eliminate the spike protein, and because his blood was clogging, so he started taking it, and he healed himself. So retrograde planet gives you way more penetration and focus and insight. So again, for some of you, it can be researching new alternative or other health methods, putting extra efforts. Retrograde planet puts extra efforts, is slower moving, but more things that in regards to health or work are more deliberate and slower, but at the same time more profound. Okay. And of course, Jupiter makes trine to the Sun on which day exactly, which is great. You'd feel that in a positive way. On the 8th, in the Sun, it's in your 10th house of career, around the 7th, 8th, 9th. That can be a very good, and Jupiter is in your 6th house, 8th, 9th, 7th, 8th, 9th of September. Something positive can come in your work environment with authority figures or with people that you work with, anything to do with those more practical areas of life. Some good news there. And it can be a good time to start something as well. But there is the very big focus on this 10th house this whole month. Because Mercury is retrograde the first 15 days there, and it's invisible. It's a very wounded Mercury. So you might be dealing with some complications at your career in your 10th house. You see how the focus for Sagittarius is a lot about practical matters. 6th house, work, employee, any tasks that you haven't done, Jupiter will ask you to revisit them, maybe to reorganize. 6th house is very much where Jupiter is going retrograde. Rethinking your habits, reorganizing your environment. Whilst Mercury retrograde in your 10th house, this is the house again of your career, of bosses. Maybe there can be some, hopefully not, but maybe some developments with people in authority figures or authority institutions. Until the 15th, they might be a bit more complicated. And if you're working on some work project, it might be delayed, or you might have to put extra efforts or redo it, or you keep finding mistakes and fixing it, or it keep being returned to you, or somehow it's slowed down, or you have to put 2-3 times more efforts than usual. Or maybe you're seeing that it's not done this right way, it has to be done in a different way, or something about your work, again, you might be rethinking. So for many Sagittarius, especially the first 15 days of the month, with Mercury retrograde in the 10th house, Jupiter changing direction in your 6th house, it can be really change of direction in your career. For better or worse, it's personal. You have to check your personal transit from my personal transit calendar to see if the positive transits predominate or the negative ones. That's much more general, this prediction I'm doing for you. Some of you might think maybe that's not the career I want, or maybe something happens, their boss changes or moves away, or the plans change there, or they're just redoing some old project, or they're asked to work on the extra efforts, or maybe some complications there that you don't feel recognized with your work and so on. But that turns very quickly around. So if there was any complications with authority figures or father figures, even in the 10th house, or with your job, or some delays there, stresses connected to your career, to your profession, to your public image, there's some change there with your reputation or your work projects, this very quickly changes for the better. The winds change there because Mercury becomes visible on the 17th, becomes direct on the 15th, and it's exalted. This is Mercury as strong will never have again for years to come. Direct, visible, and exalted Mercury in your 10th house, the most visible house on the top of the horoscope. So whatever complications there are with such matters, with communications as well, because definitely Mercury, and even with relationships, because Mercury rules your 7th house with others, being in a very poor state the first 15 days, there might be some complications in relationships and so on with others, some crisis there. But even if this happens, from the middle of the month, things turn around and they start improving. For example, with your career, you can get really good news, and it happens with the new moon in your 10th house at the same time. So something new can be born. Mercury is born, becomes visible, direct, and, exalted. New moon there. Something really good can be born in your career, like a new career direction, new better boss, or new idea that you have in your career, or your social status can improve. And so if you have to present something important at business or at work, some report to bring out something to the world where you'll be visible after the 15th, it will be amazing. So maybe a new business you want to start, a new business project, a new job, you want to apply for a new job, you want to ask for a promotion, you want to go to an authority figure in an institution or a policeman, something to do with anything who is in authority, the 10th house, to approach someone in authority. 16, 17, 15, I would say from the 17 onwards, when Mercury becomes visible as well, till the first week of October, you'll be successful. Anything to do with this career, or very good, because anyone who is in a Mercury careers, if you're a blogger, vlogger, if you create content on media, if you're a writer, speaker, teacher, white collar worker, business person, administrator, anything where you use your skills of communication, this is Mercury careers. Or lawyer, that's most of the careers nowadays. Programmer. Well, Mercury is in your 10th house. So if you've been working on some project connected to those things, when it becomes visible and turns direct, you'll get the rewards. Very good rewards. Even if before that was more complicated and more stressful. Or you can give birth to a new project then. Something can really improve in your career. And so start a business, bring out a project to the world or anything like that, go for it. Or any important documentations or paper or statement or message if you have to do where it's visible, do it then. So thank you so much, Sagittarius. Hope that was helpful for you and hope you're successful this month.